everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Julie. I have 4 children and we are expecting our 5th baby in October. And we just chose, this baby's a surprise gender, and we just chose our baby boy's name and our baby girl's name. We have those set, and so today I have a list for you of 10 baby names we love that we will not be using. I did this tag before a couple of years ago and I gave you 10 baby names back then, so some of the names that I said back in that video we may have discussed a little bit in this pregnancy for using this time, but I didn't want to redo those names in a video, so I didn't want to repeat any of these names today. Let's get to it. I'm going to give you 5 baby names, 5 baby boy names, and I'm going to give you 5 baby girl names. Let's get started. The first baby girl's name is Ivy. I love the sound of this name. I think it's so simple and sweet. Ivy. I really like the sound of that name, but we did choose not to use it. Our first baby boy's name is the name Everett, and I love this name. I don't think I had ever thought of it in a previous pregnancy before this one, but I do really love the sound of it. I will say we decided fairly early on, I don't know if we'd really discussed it in past pregnancies, but now that we have 4 kids starting with an E, C, S, and Z, we decided that we don't want to repeat any of those letters, and so since we already have Elijah, we're not going to use another name that starts with an E. Not that we would have necessarily chosen this name anyways. I don't know for sure that my husband liked it as much as I do, but it's definitely one of my current favorite baby boy names. My next favorite girl's name is Meadow. I don't hear this name often. I think I've heard of one little girl named Meadow. And I just think it's really pretty. I love how it starts differently than all my other kids' names, but it also ends differently. So we have 2 that end in an one that ends in E, and one that ends in Simeon. And so I like names that are very different from each other, and so I love how this name just has a very different sound than the rest of our kids' names. Another boy's name that we discussed a little bit, I don't actually think we talked about this one for long, but I do like the name Marcus. I think it sounds nice. I stopped for a second, like, what else do I say about this name? I like the sound of it. I like how it can easily be shortened and you can have the nickname Mark, although we probably wouldn't now that I think about it because my kids have an uncle Mark, so we probably wouldn't use it anyways. But anyways, it was one of the names I wrote down as we were looking through baby names that we liked the sound of. Another girl's name I love. I can't always speak for my husband on these. Most of these are just names that I had written down that I had found, and some of them we really discussed together for a while that we both really liked, but some of them I think were more me, and I think that was the case with this name, and that's the name Felicity. I have always really liked this name. I think it's so feminine. It's just such a pretty sounding name. I really love the sound of it. Another boy's name that we have discussed we kind of discussed it this pregnancy. We've definitely discussed it a couple of our other pregnancies, and that is the name Damien. Different sounding, you don't hear it often, sounds very masculine. It is definitely way too close to Simeon, and so that's why we really didn't discuss it much this pregnancy. We kind of said, oh yeah, we still like the name Damien, but we won't use it because it sounds so close to Simeon. But I love how masculine and strong it sounds. My next girl's name is Haven. And I just love the meaning of this name. I love how safe it sounds and peaceful and calm, and just such a pretty sound to it, Haven. The next boy's name, this is one name that I will say is really not one of my favorites. This one is totally one of Andrew's favorites. I think it's one of his favorites. He's brought it up a few times anyways. We should do this tag together sometime. But he has mentioned a few times when we're talking about boys' names, the name Enoch. And to me, it's too far out there. I'm not a big fan of the name, I'll just say that. I love the scriptural meaning of it. I love that it was a man from the Bible who walked with God. I'm just not a big fan of how it sounds. My next favorite baby girl's name, my last favorite baby girl's name, again, this is mine. Like, I brought this name up to my husband and he was kind of like, eh. And then later I said, well, what about this name? And he's like, no, I don't really like it. But I really like the sound of, and that is the name Piper. I think that's just such a pretty name. I like it. I don't know what it means. I guess I could figure out what it probably means. I don't know anyone personally with that name. I have heard a couple people recently, like people I follow on Instagram, other YouTubers that have named their little girl Piper. But other than that, I don't know anyone with that name, and I just love the sound of it. Our last boy's name is the name Garrett. Again, it's just a strong masculine name. I'm not a big fan of unisex names. I love especially boys' names that are strong and really just manly sounding. And so that's what I think about the name Garrett. So those are our favorites, 5 girl names, 5 boy names. I'll be honest, I had to dig a little bit to find the boys' names because I had a list on my phone of our favorite girl names, favorite boy names. We ended up picking our boy's name way before we picked a girl's name. And then somehow the note on my phone where I had the names got deleted. I don't know what happened. It was very strange, but it was gone. And so because we'd already picked our boy's name, I had kind of forgotten, because it had been weeks before that we had talked about boys' names, what names we had on that list, whereas the girls, I could easily remember the ones because we were still currently talking about them. If that story makes sense at all, I had to dig a little bit, like what other boy names did we talk about, and trying to just remember what we had talked about. And anyways, those are the names. Please let me know down below what you think of these names. If there are any that you're like, Julie, why would you even think of that name? Or if you like them too, or if you have a child with that name, let me know. And please give this video a thumbs up as well if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.